In the grand tapestry of human history, few inventions have been as revolutionary as writing. It was the dawn of a new era, not just for communication, but for control. Before the first symbols were etched into clay, societies were governed by memory, tradition, and the spoken word. Power was personal, ephemeral, but with writing, power became permanent. It could be codified, archived, and scaled across vast distances and generations. This is the story of how the written word became the silent, unyielding backbone of civilization, enabling rulers to command empires and shape the destinies of millions. The first step toward centralized control was the codification of laws. Oral traditions were flexible, prone to interpretation and change. But a written law was absolute. The Code of Hammurabi, carved into a towering stone stele, was not just a set of rules. It was a declaration of the king's authority, a divine mandate made tangible. These laws standardized justice, but they also reinforced social hierarchies. The penalties for a nobleman were different from those for a commoner or a slave. Writing made the law impartial in its application, yet partial in its design. It was a tool to unify a kingdom under a single legal standard, but also to cement the power of the ruling class, ensuring that the social order remained as fixed as the letters carved in stone. An empire is not built on armies alone, but on information. Early states faced an immense logistical challenge: how to manage a growing population, vast territories, and complex economies. The answer was the archive. In the palaces of Mesopotamia and Egypt, armies of scribes meticulously recorded everything. Census data, grain harvests, trade transactions, and royal decrees. These records were the state's memory. They allowed rulers to understand their resources, track their subjects, and plan for the future. A granary's inventory, recorded on a simple clay tablet, could determine the fate of a city in a time of famine. A census scroll was not just a count of people. It was a map of human resources, a tool for conscription and labor projects. Through record keeping, the state extended its senses, seeing and remembering everything, making every individual a known quantity within its grand equation of power. If laws defined the social order and records tracked to the people, taxation funded the state. Writing was the engine of the ancient tax machine. Without written records, taxation was haphazard, limited to what a local official could personally oversee. But with papyrus and clay, the state could implement systematic, empire-wide taxation. Scribes created detailed tax rolls, listing every household, its members, and its assets. They issued receipts, creating a paper trail that ensured compliance. This system was inescapable. A farmer's debt to the state was no longer a matter of a tax collector's memory. It was an entry in a ledger, a permanent obligation. This regular flow of revenue funded armies, built monuments, and paid for the bureaucracy that held the empire together. Writing transformed tribute into a science, making the wealth of the land the property of the state. The final piece of the puzzle was administration. A single ruler could not govern an empire alone. They needed a network of officials, governors, and messengers to enforce their will. Writing was the lifeblood of this bureaucracy. Royal edicts, dispatched from the capital, carried the king's authority to the farthest corners of the realm. Provincial governors sent back regular reports, keeping the central government informed. This constant flow of written communication allowed for a level of complex administration previously unimaginable. Instructions could be precise, and accountability could be enforced. A governor who failed to meet his quota, or a general who disobeyed an order, could not hide behind misremembered words. Their duties and their failures were documented. This bureaucratic machine, lubricated by ink, allowed early states to operate with a new level of efficiency and control, creating a structure of power that could outlast any single ruler. The systems of control forged in the ancient world cast a long shadow. The laws, the records, the taxes, the administration, all are pillars of the modern state, and all are built upon the foundation of writing. The tools have changed, from clay tablets to digital databases, but the principle remains the same. Writing is an instrument of order, a means of extending authority and managing complexity. It brought stability and enabled the growth of civilizations, but it also created new forms of power and inequality. As we look back at the dawn of writing, we see not just the birth of literature and history, but the forging of the invisible chains of the state of power that, once written, could never be erased.